Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Justin Harvey here of the world-renowned Justin Harvey Show. Tonight I am proud to be hosting once again World Martial Arts Radio Network. And today, or this evening I should say, my guest really doesn't need a major introduction to the show because he's been on before. I'm also proud to call him a martial arts brother and a part of my family. And I've had many conversations with this wonderful man, and I want to welcome back Richard Hallman to the show. Welcome back, sir. I'm so glad to have you back.
Thank you, Justin. Good to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So let's get rocking and a rolling, so to speak. Last time we talked about the Congress. We talked about a lot of different subjects, and tonight I've got a brand new set of questions for you, and I want to start off with asking you, have you ever taught any disabled children or adults, and what do you think needs to be done to teach the disabled in your own words?
Well, in my own words, let me give you a viewpoint on that. As you know, I am a Shodai Soke, founder of my own martial art that's been truly acknowledged worldwide and accepted and favored. I worked hard and long on that. It took me 40 plus years to get that acknowledged. And what the IDO means is harmony of martial arts, harmony of arts. So it incorporates everything. It incorporates, karate, judo. It incorporates the MMA technique. It imitates the actual takedowns in the MMA drills and stuff like that, which I would love to work with some of them that are doing MMA fighting, because I can show them some techniques to make someone tap out real quick by using pressure points. Now, when you talk about the actual, we require that we bring in disabled people for a class situation. We have a specific regiment designed, 10 or 12 specific techniques. We don't try to overload the person with too many techniques to learn. That's where they start to lose it. Keep it simple is a real principle. And our art actually has, a section in it to where my black belt instructors actually work with the disabled, and I'm talking people that walk with canes, they walk with crutches, they have, artificial limbs, or they're in wheelchairs, and they're actually given the opportunity to learn self-defense techniques for it. Because surprise is the key element, and when you know something they don't. Notice that one of the big things coming out nowadays is the cane martial arts. It's coming back. And if you can use a bow or a joe, or, out of the old weapons and stuff like that, you can also use your crutches. You can also use those techniques as far as being limited in your physical abilities to catch a person off guard that's trying to do you harm. So I wanted to get that in there because that's a real, serious application of self-defense that we take very seriously, and we include it in our repertoire of martial arts training.
That makes a lot of sense, and I'm right there with you. And this next question is going to be a doozy. I see there's some problems within the martial arts that I particularly see that I don't really care for. I see sometimes young kids in these certain dojos, they'll have a black belt within no time, what do you think needs to be done in the martial arts community to fix things to the way they used to be, to actually be truly trained in the martial arts? What needs to happen, sir?
Justin, let me make sure I understand your question. Are you asking about teens or pre-adult children that are learning the martial arts training? Are you asking for young adults 18 and above?
Okay, I'm actually talking about like okay, I'll give you an example. I'm saying like say like a kid or somebody wants their black belt, and then like you see them a month later with their black belt, and it's like they need to be studying for quite a few years before they can get a black belt. What needs to be stopped to be able to get to where we used to be? Because that's a real issue.
Okay. I think you're hinting above, what is the actual line drawn in the sand where most instructors require a person to wait until they're able to obtain a black belt.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to get at.
Exactly. Okay, so let me elaborate on that a little bit.
Okay.
In my personal style and in the styles I've studied all the way up, we do not have what you call Pee-wee black belts. But each style is different, and they have reasons for doing what they do. So I'll only be able to comment on my own because I'm not here to down any other martial arts. My point I'm trying to make is, if you put on a black belt and you claim you're a black belt, then you best be able to defend that black belt status. And you must be big enough, strong enough, and mature enough to be able to do that. And in my personal studies, I cut that age off at the legal adult age of 18.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can study from the age 5 years of age up until 18 years of age. And unless you're Superman, which I've never seen it happen, because there's too much goes on with kids and adolescents growing up that doesn't understand the proper meaning of martial arts and what it means to be a black belt. I'm actually doing an article for Dr. Bodie Sanders, what it means to be a black belt, and I'm going to explain that thoroughly. Having said that, we do not believe in 10-year-old black belts. You can't defend yourself. You're going to make a mockery of it. To me, it's not proper, and we just don't do it. Like I said, I just believe you have to be strong enough, big enough, and understandable enough. Maturity has to be there for you to be able to put on that black belt and back it up.
Yeah. My next question, sir, we was actually earlier discussing weapons, and you studied different weapons, but what is actually your favorite weapon to practice with, or might even use it if needed? What is your favorite weapon to practice with?
Well, thank you for asking that. My favorite weapon is obviously the samurai sword, which is really a favorite of most martial artists, no matter what your style, whether it be the broadsword or the samurai sword or so forth. However, when you get down to self-defense, it comes down to the bow or Joe. I look at it this way. If I'm going to go up against someone that's pulled a knife on me, you need to find yourself an equalizer real quick. And you can actually take a broom handle, if you know how to use it, and defeat that person, because what you want to do is deflect it and take the person down before he can get to you. He's got a short weapon. You've got a long weapon. So use it to your best ability. So as far as weapon use and self-defense, it would be the Joe or the bow or so-called broom handle. Now, as far as my favorite, that would be the samurai sword. But then again, that's just a personal preference of weapons that I like.
Yeah, yeah. I always wanted like a samurai sword, but like have my name put on the sword like in Japanese or something. And I think that would be really, really neat to have, you know, something like that for my collection, because I actually myself, I collect swords and stuff to that nature, and I even have nunchucks and stuff like that too. So I'm definitely, you know, even though I don't use them, I'm definitely a weapons guy. I love to collect them and stuff, and it's a big part of the art, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, that's a favorite of yours, and it's part of the past, and I have no problem with that. The reason I don't teach it in my style of Ida-Ru Jiu-Jitsu is simply because this is a modern day understanding of weapons, and most everything is hand in hand, or actually where people pull out guns or knives. I'm telling you now, understand the logic behind it. A broom handle, a Joe, a set of size, a nunchucks, whatever, is not going to do well against somebody pulling out a knife or a gun.
Yeah.
So the difference is you have to upgrade your martial arts skills to the weapons that are used nowadays. You know, defense against them and the offense use of them. And I'll kind of, you know, settle at that, because the logical understanding is you got to look at it this way. You can't take, you know, a samurai sword or a set of nunchucks and come at somebody that has a gun on them. The old thing is don't bring a knife to a gunfight. You know, think about that.
Exactly. And here's a fun question. What is your all-time favorite martial arts film? I've always wanted to know that, sir.
Wow. There are several. Keeping in mind that all of it is choreographed, and, you know, the swings, you know, are not real and stuff like that, but the choreography is expected to follow the script. I mean, yes, I'm a Bruce Lee fan, and the reason I'm a Bruce Lee fan is because he had the will and intuition to leave the Chinese martial arts regulations that he was governed by, the Wing Chun system, and go out and learn styles around the world. This is what I respected the most out of Bruce Lee. It was what was given to me to be able to develop Ida-Ru, which is my family art. You know, I got ridiculed by it. I'll tell you that right away. You know, people didn't think I should be doing that. But hey, buddy, I made it to the top of the mountain. You didn't, you know. And people that hear that will know what I mean. You know, the situation is this. I designed something efficient, and it was because I put everything back into jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu means a combination of all arts together. Everything derived from that. Everything came from it. Aikido, judo, karate, kung fu, everything developed off of jiu-jitsu. Now I put it all back, including the pressure point applications and everything else. So, you know, as far as the movies, you know, Bruce Lee's, everybody was looking at him as being the most famous martial artist around, and he was. However, you know, I have to look at it this way. He had, you know, the intestinal fortitude to walk away from the governing body of martial arts in China and able to develop his own system because he saw flaws. Well, that's what I did. I saw how to defeat my own art, and I was able to put it all back into an art that I felt was stronger. So that's how I came up with Ida-Ru, you know. And so I look at it this way. I give him the praise for, having the strength and the intestinal fortitude to do that. So, the Bruce Lee movies were some of my favorites.
Awesome. And with that said, sir, we are going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Taekwondo training, fellowship, and spirit. The U.S. National Taekwondo Association is your link to the traditional Taekwondo of Korea. We offer both national and world certifications. Our mission is to provide a fraternal organization for the promotion and preservation of Taekwondo as a martial art. We strive to service all needs of the traditional stylist from the highest level grandmaster to the beginner student. Enjoy the many benefits we offer. Grade and black belt certifications, instructor and master instructor courses, tournament insurance, success seminars, state, national, and international competitions, business support, martial arts supplies, monthly e-newsletter, and private training tours of Korea. Not only do we teach the best techniques, but Korean philosophy as well. We develop the complete mind, body, and spirit philosophy. Visit www.usnta.net to join today.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Ma from World Martial Arts Media, and today I'm here to tell you about LegacyBelts.com. Legacy Championship Belts and Awards is the world's premier manufacturer of custom and cast championship title belts who supplies belts to the top professional boxing, MMA, and wrestling organizations on the planet. If you're a promoter or collector looking for a high-quality MMA, martial arts, boxing, wrestling belt, or even a belt for a special event, then you need to visit LegacyBelts.com today. Be sure to like us at www.facebook.com/LegacyBelts.
And we are back on World Martial Arts Radio Network with Soke Hallman. I tell you, sir, I'm having a blast with this discussion, and I wanted to ask you, for people that have never been in martial arts and they want to try it and they want to do it, when somebody walks into a dojo, whether it's a child or adult, what are the do's and don'ts when they first get there? Like, what is considered disrespectful and what is considered polite? What should they not do? That way they know.
Well, let me ask you to re-explain the question here, because are you talking about a mother and son or daughter walking in through the door? They have no idea what to expect from martial arts. They don't understand
exactly. Like, I'll give you an example. Like,
so forth.
For example,
yes, please.
Don't put your feet on the mat until your shoes are off. Things like that.
Exactly.
Because I have heard stories that there have been some parents that sometimes they will leave their kid and treat the martial arts dojo like a daycare, which is a no-no.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought you meant. Let me be clear about this. This is serious to us as instructors and students that are following our martial arts. You are expected to walk in that dojo and leave your ego and your footwear at the front door, whether it's beside the door, along the edge or whatever, is irrelevant. The point I'm trying to make is once you walk through that door in that dojo or dojang, you are expected to, commit yourself to learning what you're being taught by the instructors and the higher rank, like, colored belts that are above you in the system you're trying to study. And everyone that's a higher belt than you is your senior, and you learn to respect and learn the etiquette, along as you go. And the longer you're with them, you're going to learn this because you're going to constantly hear it from your instructors. Your instructors is at the front of the school, and they tell the black and brown belts or red belts, whichever ones are below them, to actually pass down the knowledge there. They'll pair you up. And those people are instructors in waiting. They're learning how to become black belts and go from there. So they're expected to act like that. Speak etiquette. Tell the junior students, you are to do this. You are to bow on the mat. You are to turn and face the mat and bow off the mat. Etiquette is primary. That's conditioning. We've talked about conditioning. Whether you're conditioning your body, your mind has to be conditioned too. So the situation is this. When you walk in that dojo, it's like, and keep in mind, martial arts, the key word is martial, meaning military, is just like driving on a military base. The moment you drive on that base, you are expected to be proper salute and the etiquette of a military, atmosphere.
Yeah.
So this is the way that goes. When you drive off the mat, you can call each other, Justin and Rick, that kind of thing. But when you step in that dojo, everything becomes official. And that's how you abide by it. And that's the way you learn for the rest of your days in the martial arts.
That's very well taken. And honestly, I think that's why martial arts needs to be in, like, public schools to actually help troubled teens, learn respect and restraint. And it'll also help with, people being able to defend themselves to this day. And, martial arts is definitely needed back in the forefront, in my opinion, sir. So it's...
You know what? I mean, in China, Korea, Japan, they require it in their school curriculums. I really do think that it should be part of the American, curriculums. It's needed. People need to know how to defend themselves, but they need to know how to be honorable about it. Don't go around being bullies. This will take care of a lot of, people bullying people around. That'll stop that. There's some things there that are not being adhered to that people need to know. But that's not the American way. And if they would listen to some really good grandmasters around, maybe this can be instilled into our school system to where it would make it much better. That's just kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, exactly. And, I wish that they would have had, martial arts at my public school or something. And in today's society, violence and stuff and everything, it's really, really bad now. And I feel bad for, this generation and stuff. And martial arts can really help a kid or a child balance themselves out and feel included in activities, because I've seen kids in school that want to do an activity and they try and they're just not able, and yet they're not included, and then they have low self-esteem and everything else.
Oh, I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. If the American way would realize it, it would make 100% difference. I think it should be there, but that's not the way the American way came about in the school systems. However, you and I both know that in Korea, China, Japan, Vietnam, and places like that, it's a requirement. It's part of your exercise routine and your curriculum. Instead of going out at break and playing kickball and tag and stuff like that, get out there and do martial arts and learn respect and honor all the way through the school system. How much difference would you see toward their senior year when they graduate and they're old enough to earn their black belt at that point? How, just look at it this way. Just all of a sudden hit me. What would it be like to hand a person a high school diploma and their black belt degree at the same time. Wouldn't that be something? Think about that for a minute.